What's up, everybody? Donwing Sadev here, and I'm back with you with another part of What If Deku Had an Half and Half Quirk. So, we're gonna start off where we last left off when they were in the USJ. So, now we're gonna start with the UA Sports Festival. But before we can even go there, we have to go back with Izuku. We have to go back with Izuku getting discharged from the hospital. I know I didn't talk about any hospital in the other part, but wait, did I? Can never know. Eh, whatever. So yeah, this part is going to be the complete sports festival and the interaction. Oh, who knows, whatever. Okay, so Izuku, he's sitting on the bed. Doctors are there, checking if he's alright to go. They say he's alright. Then him and Shoto take his school bag and all that stuff and start to go home. Okay. So we cut to a flashback at the when they were at the USJ. The students go to Mr. Aizawa and ask for Izuku's address so that they can go there and check if he's okay. He said that it's okay, and then he gave them the address. He just said that they would have to wait a couple of days because he's still in the hospital. They understand, and yeah. So now Izuku and Shoka, Izuku and Shoka are home. They're just sitting on the couch. Shoka eating her cold soba. Izuku just chilling on the couch, doing normal stuff. Then there's a knock at the door. Izuku says that he's gonna go and get it. He goes there. He opens the door. He sees his classmates. He asks what they're doing here. They said that they're here to visit him because they were worried about him and they couldn't go and visit him in the hospital. So they asked Mr. Aizawa for his address, and here they are. He said they can come in. And then Shoka's like, honey, who's there? Some guests which you probably know. They come into the lounge. They see Shoka sitting on the couch, eating her cold soba and watching whatever you want her to be watching, whatever you expect her to be watching. So yeah. So she's like, hello. As she goes back to eating her cold soba. As the class was actually shocked because they thought that they were just married. They didn't know that they actually lived together. They just thought they were just married and they still lived with their parents. So yeah. Then they're like, wait, you two lived with each other? Yes. Didn't we say we were married? I think we said that we were married, right, Shoka? We did, honey. Maybe they forgot. Maybe the trauma from the USJ attack. She went back to eating her cold soba and watching TV. No. We do remember you saying that you were married. It's just that we didn't know that you actually lived together. We thought that you were married and you still lived with your parents, since which parents would let their kids live alone at such a young age? Many parents do. Some parents let their kids live alone so that they can go to school which is far away from them. So, yeah. Okay. So yeah, they chat, they talk about the whole USJ thing and how Izuku made the whole place look like a winter wonderland with swords and of ice, all types of weapons, spears, hamlets, axes, maces, arabic swords, staffs, kunai, shuriken, all kinds of stuff which you could imagine. Cannons, well, cannon bolts. What else? Tanks. Nah, that's just too much. uh, I was gonna say even nukes. That would be too much. Even though you can make an ice explosion, compressing the water into one singular point, then freezing it, and then poof, ice explosion. I like making broken characters. Okay, back to the what if. So, yeah, they talk about it and they ask if he's fine, all that stuff. Goes talk to Shoka, asking how the marriage life is. Her answering with a minimalist answer, saying, yeah. Sometimes answering with, it's kind of happy, it's fine, everything's good, all that stuff. Not really answering the question full on with expression and all that stuff. So Good just says, that's just how she is. But then she says, but then, but that's how you love me. She says, he says, you're right. And then she goes back to eating. So, yeah. So now a week has passed. They go back to school. So you're wondering, so class 1A was not there for the whole week, but the other classes were there for that week and saw that class 1A wasn't there. So, class 1B Monoma probably thinking that they're so great after facing real villains with his arrogant, sassy ass expressions. Yeah, that dude. He's just that way because he knows that he's not greater than them. And he'll never be greater than them. Because the only reason why he is here is because his quirk allows him to copy other people's quirks. So if he was really alone, he wouldn't be able to copy anyone's quirk. Maybe if he trained a little bit harder, he would just have to have some DNA of a person, like a hair, would keep it in a capsule in his suit, have to touch it, then copy that DNA, and then voila, he could use that quirk. But nope, him being the arrogant sassy as he is, didn't train it, just busy complaining about how the world is unfair and didn't actually train it, thinking that he might be able to hold it forever. But nope, had to be an arrogant sassy ass. Okay, back to what I was saying about him saying mocking and saying all this stuff about them being like this. So yeah. So they go back to school that after that week. Aizawa comes in telling them the fight is not over. Everyone is surprised, asking, are there more villains? Shouldn't we be out? Aren't the heroes doing anything? Asking all kinds of questions. Then Aizawa says, shut up. What I was talking about is the UA Sports Festival. A festival where you show your skills with each other, facing against the other classes of that year, where you can get internships from heroes so that you can get further experience into your hero training. Everyone boomed with excitement, being happy that they can show off to the people as well as heroes and get more experience in hero work. And then Aizawa said, you will have this whole week to practice. And you will have another week of no school so that you can train for the UA Sports Festival, he says, as they all They're even more happy they don't have to do more schoolwork. I'm so happy that don't have to go back to school. Just have to wait for my report card, which I'm pretty sure I aced because pretty much all the tests were easy. I studied like a hell a lot, and if I didn't get an A, I'm gonna slap someone. I just might throw a tantrum. Okay, why am I always get off topic? But back to the what if. Probably because I'm busy talking about something which relates to me, and then there we go again. I can't keep focus on one thing. Oh, it's like I'm an idiot who cannot comprehend more things than one. And here we go again. I'm talking. Oh, okay. Back to the what if. Why am I so? Okay, I'm going to stop there before I talk. Oh, I did it again. Okay, back to the what if. So yeah, they're happy. They go home that whole week. Yada yada. They come back to school. I don't know how they train, but I know Shoka and Izuku trained in his eyes, making sure that he was able to contain the ever frost or absolute zero eyes. Oh, should they just name it devil eyes? Yeah, purple and devil eyes. And Shoka concentrating on her cremation blue flames. Do you know that blue flames are actually made because of something to do with eyes? Probably that's why Darby has it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm just gonna stop there. I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't watched the manga, read the manga. So yeah, I'm just gonna stop right there. Back to what if. And yeah, they've just been training that, making sure that they don't get hurt by it, concentrating it, being able to shape it, manipulate it, control it, being able to make it last longer, and all that stuff. So yeah, they go into class doing everything normally because they're going to be doing the sports festival in the afternoon. Yeah, starting from 10 up until 6 no 4 no yeah 4 maybe 4. I don't know actually know what time it is, so I'm just gonna make it up. So yeah, so they do normal classes up until then when they're heading out, Bakugo was heading out. So wait, yeah, Izuku and Shota are heading out. They open the door. They see other class students busy in front of the door. Izuku just says, "Can you please move?" As him and Shoka are trying to, "Can you please move? We're trying to get out." And then Monoma and Shinso come up, saying, looky here. Class 1A stuck-ups. What are you talking about? Huh. Doesn't even pay attention to people. Just shows how stuck-up he is. I don't know what you're talking about, but can you please move? We're trying to get to the changing room. Whatever. And there they go again, all acting all high and mighty just because they fought some villains. Like Monoma, keep on talking. Okay, listen here. I don't give a fuck what you say about me, but please move away so I can go to the changing room. He says with an ice dead stare, sending shivers down their spines, and actual literal shivers since he can't control water in the body and he can't freeze water, so actual shiver down their down the spine. And then they back up. Him and Shoka just walk. And then Denki says, looks like they're upset. They pissed off the class of prayers. Then Mia says, not really easy to piss him off. Probably gonna get payback at them in the sports festival. True. And then him and Shoka are walking, and then Shoka say, you just could have frozen him, and then we could have moved. I don't want to deal with Mr. Aizawa. Okay. Then Izuku says, we're here. Then he kisses Shoka on the lips. Shoka goes to her changing room, and he goes to his. Then they go out, and they are waiting by the bus for everyone else. And then back to the front door of Class 1A, you see Baku saying, "Move, extras! I'm trying to go to the changing room." And here we go, another stuck-up from Class 1A. And then Kirishima's like, then Denki's like, dude, what's wrong with that blonde guy's problem? What's that blonde guy's problem here? We're just trying to get out. I know that Bakugo's being rude and much, but then Kirishima says, that's so unmanly. Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. They just go through the other door, leaving Bakugo to go on his tantrum, and then he just shoves past them and goes to the changing room. So then Monoma says, so typical of Class 1A. Then he says, shut up. No one gives a fuck what you say, stupid extra. And then they go to the changing room. They go to the bus. Then they go to the waiting room. They go on the bus. They go drive to the stadium. They go into the waiting room. And then we go. Then we go to they're in the waiting room for each class. Then we go here. Now I'm going to be introducing the class. What's up, everybody? President Mike saying, are you ready for the first year sports festival? For UA's first year sports festival. The crowd goes wild. Then let's start this up. Are you ready, Aizawa, for this year's sports festival? You already have a mic built into your mic. Can you shut up? No can do, buddy. So first off, we have Class 1A, the class that has fought off, that has encountered villains before. The class known as the best of UA. Class 1A, being led by the King of Ice himself. The King and Queen of Ice themselves. As you see them walk out, Izuku has his left hand in his pocket and he's walking. He has his hands in his pocket and he's walking with Shoka next to him. And then followed by the rest of Class 1A. Then we have Class 1B, a step lower than Class 1A, but still good in more cases than others. We have Class 1B, the class led by the Vampire King himself, Vlad King. Then we have Class 1C, also known as General Studies. General Studies, followed by the businessmen themselves. Here they come. Then we got the support corps. Look at them showing off their fancy gadgets and such cool inventions that can blow your mind out. Literally, they might have something that can blow your mind out. Ha 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 ha. And then introduces the rest of the class. I don't know what the rest of the class is, so yeah. Then he says, now I introduce you to the proctor of the exam, of the festival. As then you see a woman walking up, swinging her hips. Midnight. Hello, everybody. Name's Midnight, and today I'm gonna be the proctor for this new sports festival. So before we start off with the first activity, let's get a motivational speech from our representative for the first years. Will Izuku Midoriya step up? As Izuku steps up, he walks there. He says, "Can you give us a motivational speech for this year's sports festival?" He nods. He takes the mic and says, "We've all come here for one goal, one dream, and one thing in mind. That one thing is to be heroes, not just any hero. We strive to be the best heroes. We strive to be in the top 10. We strive to become the number one hero. So let's show them. Let's show the world. Let's show them. Let's show them the city. No, the country. No, the whole entire world that this new heroes, these heroes in training are here, and we'll stop those villains from doing anything dangerous. We will save them from natural disasters. We will save them from any kind of villain attack. We will save them from harming themselves. We will save them and we'll protect them in any way we can. So let's show them that these are heroes of this new generation who show everyone that we are UA. So let's go beyond. Plus Ultra. The whole crowd cheers as he steps down, and then Mina says, "Thank you for that motivational speech." Now, on to the first activity. As she spins the wheel, the obstacle race. And then line up by the entrance area. She says this, and then everyone lines up. Izuku and Shoka in the front. Izuku says, "You're gonna freeze them, right? You're gonna freeze them, right? You know me so well." And then President Mike says, "Okay, we're about to start the first event of the UA Sports Festival. So Aizawa, so Irisahead, what do you think is the first obstacle is the hardest obstacle of the obstacle race?" "The entrance." "Okay, 3, 2, 1, go." So what do you think Irisahead is the first obstacle? Is the worst obstacle to face in the UA in the first test? That would be the entrance. As he says that, Shoka freezes the floor. Some were able to manage to escape, and some were not. As Izuku was already sliding on the walls with his eyes, and then just sliding, and then makes complete utter water pressure build under his feet, and then uses that water pressure to blast him off as he's just sliding on the ice. And Shoka is doing the same, using her ice to slide, but then this time she's using her fire, because when they were young, Izuku helped her manage with the fire thing and helped change Endeavor. So yeah, that's where we go. I do not know when Toya left, but yeah, I'm just gonna say it was before before Izuku changed Endeavor, and that, yeah. So yeah, and here we go. The first two in the lead, we have Izuku Midoriya. From one in the lead, we have Izuku Midoriya, followed close behind with Shoto Midoriya. As they are now approaching the very first test. Whoa, look behind them in third place, Bakugo Katsuki. And then now they are approaching the very first obstacle, the 0 pointers. As they near them, Izuku says, "I'll take one, you take another." Shoka nods, and then they do the same move with Todoroki did in the sports festival. Froze the whole 0 pointer, and then they kept on moving on. Look at that display of power! As Katsuki just uses his explosion, flies over it and blasts the face, and then follows close behind. So yeah. So They coming, and here they are approaching the second obstacle, the canyon. As Izuku and Shoka just build bridges to pass, as then Izuku breaks the bridge, as Shoka melts her bridge, as Bakugo just flies over the canyon. As they rush again, Izuku still, and we still have Izuku Midoriya in the lead, followed close behind with Shoka Midoriya. And in third place, we have Katsuki Bakugo. And they're nearing the third obstacle, the minefield. Izuku says, minefield. I got this. Says Shoka. When I'm done, you know what to do. She says, okay. And then Izuku says, absolute ice. The whole field is frozen in ice. And then Izuku and Shoka just skate over there using their flames and fire. Then Shoka melts the ice so that the other contestants won't have it easy, as Bakugo just flies over. As Izuku says, time to build up more water pressure. He then builds up more water pressure and blasts off. As Shoka says, time to singulate the flames. And then she singulates the flames as she blasts off. As Bakugo starts to create bigger explosions, with Izuku coming in first, then Shoka, then Bakugo. In first place, Izuku Midoriya. Second place, Shoka Midoriya. Third place, Katsuki Bakugo. The crowd cheers for them, as in the people who won in the first round in canon still go to this round. The teams are Shoka says, I'm going to be on a different team. Says, I know. Then you know me so well. She says as she walks out to start to form a team. Then Minda says, for first place, the winner has the 10 million point headband. As everyone starts to look at Izuku, trying to scare him with their glares, but then Izuku just glares at them with an ice cold glare, which sends shivers down their spine. As everyone turns around, Izuku says, thinks of a team. As he goes to ask Uraraka to go and ask Ida, Ida says that he's already with Shoka. Then he goes and asks Uraraka. She said that she is not in the team, so she can come. Then they go and ask Tokiyami. Tokiyami says it's fine, and they join. Then Izuku says we need one more. And then a support course student comes and asks if she can join with them. He says it's fine. And then they form a team with Izuku in the front. Tokiyami in the front. Then we have Izuku in the right, and Mei in the left, and Uraraka on top with the headband on her head, so that Izuku can use his eyes. Well, he could. Yeah, Izuku's on top, and Uraraka's on the right. So yeah. So then they say 3, 2, 1, Cavalry battle. The second part of the sports festival, Cavalry battle, begin. As then the teams start to charge. Some teams start to charge Deku's team. As he says, okay, Tokiyami, you're going to be using Dark Shadow to divert and defend us. Try to expand them as large as you can to block off the enemies. Mei, we will be using your gadgets to blind and react faster. And Uraraka, you will use your gravity quirk to make us more lighter, so that we're much more quicker. And I will use my eyes to create objects of ice to attack or freeze the opponent. Yeah, you understand the game plan? Everyone nods. And then it goes on like that. Blocking, avoiding other stuff. And yeah. So Izuku says, okay. I'm really bored and I don't know what. So yeah, Izuku just wins. Shoka second. In that, I really want to get to the one-on-one fight. So yeah. So then it's time for the final. It's time for the last and final test of the US Post Festival. But we'll be back right after this break. So rest up because you're gonna be having lunch hour of 1 hour. As everyone rests for that 1 hour. And yeah. So for the first test, we have the king of ice himself. Class 1A's. We have Class 1A's king. The king of ice himself, Izuku Midoriya. In the right corner. In the left corner, we have the underdog of Class 1C. The general education student, Hisoshi Shinso. May the battle begin. It must be great having such a powerful quirk, right? Having such a powerful quirk, no wonder you're in Class 1A. Must be good having all the people praise you for having such a cool quirk, while I having a villain's quirk and looking down at. Must be pretty nice, right? Being praised by every single person you know, saying that you have such an amazing quirk, while some other people don't have such amazing quirk as yours. Must be nice having rubbing it in everyone's face, right? Izuku just walks up there. Then Izuku doesn't even care. He just taps his foot on the ground, and then the ground immediately freezes, and so does Shinso. You talk too much, you know. You should focus more on battling than worrying about what other people think about your quirk. And to answer your question, I trained my quirk so hard. I trained it so that I'm able to freeze things in a matter of seconds. Not even seconds, in milliseconds. So don't even come and complain about me having a powerful quirk when I made it this powerful, while you stand there busy talking about how unfair the world is, saying that you have such a villainous quirk. Well, work on it. Prove that they are wrong and train. You could have changed your quirk. Maybe you could have made it much more stronger. Maybe you could have made it much more better. You could have changed your body. Maybe you'd be able to fight. So don't come and talk about people who actually train hard while you busy there saying how unfair the world is. So why don't you train and then come back to me later, and then you can talk and say that you tried your hardest, and then the world still look down on you. But even then, why would you give up? You're here to be a hero, right? So show them that they are wrong about you and your villainous quirk. Show them that your quirk isn't villainous, it's heroic. And show them that you can be a hero. So next time, don't talk about how unfair the world is. Because the world was always unfair. It says Izuku Midoriya for the win as the ice retracts back in as he walks off the stage. Shinso wasn't right there, inspired by that speech which he just did. Okay, so I'm gonna move Shoka to another bracket because I don't want the fight to be so quick. So she's gonna be fighting him when Todoroki fought Ida. Then, okay. So then, he's fighting Ida. Here again, we have the rest of the things go the same. Shoka just freezes her opponent, so yeah. Yet again, we have Class 1A's King of Ice versus Class 1A's Roadster. I would warn you, Ida. I would advise you to surrender now, because we both know that I would win. I know that, but I still have to give it a try. It would be a failure to the tenure name, if I were to give up without giving a fight. then I'll give you a fair chance. Then begin. Ira starts to run at him. Then Izuku places his fist on his left palm and says, "Ice make." And then in the air you could see swirls of snow. Ice javelins! As in it makes spears and then they fly off to Ira. As they touch the ground, it starts to freeze, and then the ice starts to freeze Ira, and he stops. And then Midnight says, "Izuku Midoriya for the win." As the crowd cheers on. As he goes there, he touches Ira, and the ice reverts back and goes into his hand and says, "There. At least you tried your best. Next time, improve on moving much more faster and improve the duration of your super burst. Then you might be able to avoid my attacks. Thank you for the wise words, Izuku." As they go off. So now, Izuku, now we have the married couple themselves, the King of Ice and the Queen of Ice of Class 1A. The Lord can freeze in a matter of seconds and has control over all water. And the Queen that can freeze anything in a matter of seconds and has flames that can heat up and burn things to ash too. Give it up for Izuku Midoriya and Shoka Midoriya. President Mike says, "Mike, how many times have I told you? Shut up! You're already a built-in Mike." "You don't have to be so mean, Aizawa," says President Mike says, wiping fake tears. "You ready, Shoka?" "I'm ready." 3, 2, 1, go! They immediately sent ice glaciers at each other. Then Shoko burns the ice and then charges at him. Then creates an ice and fire sword as he creates a ice and water sword as they start to slash. Zuko's parallel slashes to her stomach. She blocks it. Then she uses one to slash upwards, and then he dodges. He does a backflip. He stops. Then he charges again. He sprints there. She uses her swords. She slashes to his chest, but then he blocks with her sword. And then she slashes to his head, but then he blocks it again. Then she kicks him. He sends him back a little bit. Then he charges. He slashes to her side. She blocks it. But then he kicks her on her left side as she going that way. She stops herself by creating a wall of ice and uses her flames to boost her off as she goes to him. As she makes multiple ice swords and fire swords, as she throws them at him, as she says, "Ice make, ice shield," as he creates a shield in the air, which is designed very much and blocks all the ice swords and ice shields, and then says, "Time to take it up a notch." As then he says, "Mode," and then his right hand starts to become black. "Devil ice," as his eyes. Then he says, "Internal frozen," and then the battlefield is covered with purple ice. As everyone's surprised by this. Then President Mike says, "What are you teaching this kid? That ice, it's so cold. I can feel it from all the way up here. I bet even the people in the city can feel that." He says, "I taught him nothing. That's their own hard work." "Well, if you're going to be doing that," she says, as her left hand turns into red, as a mark of a dragon shows there, which is black, as he has a mark of while his arm is black with the mark which Gray has, And then her flames turn into, must I make it blue? Yeah, red flames, the ones which Natsu has, yeah. Then they start to fight. "Ice make, Ice bringer, he says as he creates two swords. She says, flaming dragon fist as they charge each other as the air attacks collide, making such strong air pressure. Then Izuku says, ice kick, as he makes ice go over his foot. As then she says, flaming kick, and then they collide, making steam come out as they back up, and they do a series of punches and kicks, creating air pressure. Then Izuku sends a glacier of ice, while she sends a wave of flames as they collide together, making steam. As the citizens can hear clashes of flame and ice swords hitting to each other and all that stuff. And then Izuku says, time to end it. Final move. Icebringer. Then he charges faster, and then he goes in and then says, Icebringer clash. He does an X shape, and then he appears behind her, and then she's frozen in ice with an X shape covering her. As then Midnight says, winner is Izuku Midoriya. He goes up to Shoka, touches her, absorbs back the ice as well as the ice in the arena, and says, you did well. She says, still lost again. Better luck next time. She says, as then he lifts her up, and then they go to the coffee go to make sure that she's fine. Now, we're here at the finals of the sports festival. Katsuki Bakugo, the explosion king himself of Class 1A, versus Izuku Midoriya, the ice king himself of Class 1A. I'm gonna end this quickly. Whatever you say, shitty nerd, I'm gonna explode you so hard that you won't even be able to remember what happened this day. Is that so? They charge each other, then 1, 2, 3, go. They charge each other. Then Bakugo sends an explosion to him as Izuku sends an ice explosion to him as they collide, creating strong wind pressure. As they keep on doing this, as Izuku makes ice javelins, sending them to him, but then he explodes them. As then he gets close up to him, and then guts him, then elbows him, then throws him, but then Bakugo stops himself by shooting an explosion, and then he's on the ground kneeling down. As then Izuku says, I'm going to end this right now, fast and simple. He breathes out some cold air and says, I am the ice. I am the ice of the snow. My body is the water, and my blood is the air which freezes it. I have created over 1 million snowflakes in this land, not known to anyone, not know how many I've created, nor do I. But even though I've created so many, I have no idea how each one is unique in different ways. So I pray to all those who hear, let them all show their true beauty right now in this winter wonderland. He says as the arena begins to freeze in purple ice, as they can see trees of ice forming all over, a blizzard of ice, snow clouds all over, and multiple weapons all over the battlefield. Says, welcome to my winter wonderland, where you will lose this fight, Bakugo. Whatever you say, shitty nerd, I can end you right now, right fast, before you can end me. Then he starts to say, Hauser, impact! He goes in, but then Deku says, unlimited shield source. And then he creates multiple shields with many layers of shields coming up, and then blocking the explosion as it creates a big dust cloud. As you could see Bakugo panting on the ground, as the dust clears, he sees that there's one shield left in front of Izuku, and the others have crumbled to the floor. Then he says, Close, you are very close, Bakugo. But it seems that we have to end this. And then then he raises up his hand in the sky, and then he materializes multiple ice weapons, and then he says, surrender. Then Bakugo goes, tisk, you win, shitty nerd. And then Midnight says, and the winner of the UA Sports Festival, Izuku Midoriya. As the crowd cheers as Izuku releases Winter Wonderland as he goes on his knee and pants. Okay, that's fine. And then now the awarding ceremony. Ha 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 ha. I am here, Omai says as he jumps down, as he goes to hand Shoka her third place weapon. Young Miss Midoriya, you have shown excellent skill in using both sides of your quirk. Though, just a little bit more training and you might be able to defeat young Mr. Midoriya here. So work hard, train harder in the upcoming internships, and then maybe you might be able to defeat him. She says, thank you, All Might, as he hugs her, and then he goes to Katsuki Bakugo. You, young Katsuki Bakugo, you showed extreme power, strategy, and determination to win the fight, even though all odds were against you. Even though you lost, you showed such power and determination to win the fight. So I award you with second place. Train a little bit more harder and find better ways to make your quirk even more stronger. And then maybe you can defeat young Mr. Midoriya. And you, young Mr. Midoriya, you showed such technique, paralysis, power, and intelligence in using your quirk. Not only making up creative ways of using it, but also making strong, powerful attacks. With that, I award you with the first place medal. And let us end this the UA first year's sports festival by you winning first place. Now, next year, let's see you go do better. So let's go beyond. Plus Ultra, as everyone shouts. And that's where I'm going to be ending it off. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this part. And I'm very sorry that I haven't been posting. It's just I'm too late. You know when you want to do something, but then you're just too lazy to do it? Yeah, that's me. So yeah, that's all for now. And I'm going to be posting tomorrow. What if Deku was a Todoroki and had Natsu Dragon's powers? So that's all from now. Danger, Dawn Wings What If, soaring off through the skies.